So in the grassland culture, portraits don't represent the physical um, person's, like how they actually look. Instead, portraits depict their position in society and the characteristics of that person. The individual is recognized by attributes rather than physical appearances. So now what I'm showing you here is a memorial figure of a priestess, and this is one of the most dramatic and best known sculptures from the Grassland, and she is shown both sexually and socially mature, and she has these attributes that show that she's of high status in the society, such as colors of beads and leopard teeth, pendant, beaded loin cloth and amulet, and as I said, these all allude to her special status. She may represent a royal wife, or she may be the mother of twins, but the attributes of the figure suggest she plays another role as well. She holds a basketry rattle, this thing, carried by women who lead the dance in honor of the earth. And while she may indeed represent a royal woman, she may also represent a priestess of the earth. The vigorous movement of her body shows she is in the act of singing praise to the earth, perhaps as she would at a funeral ritual for a king. So now what I'm showing you is this image. I want you to focus in on these carved figures here. There's actually 3 of them here. And originally there were probably 6 of them, but in this picture it's showing 3. And these are very important within the society. And they are known as Afro-Akam, which literally means thing of calm. And the calm figures were very important to the king, and the king is seen here touching this. They're like an effigy of him. They're used in the society as this concept of like a special portrait of the king, and it now serves as a memorial of ancestral figures. So they believe that in a way these are like embodiments of these various figures. And the carvers within the society hold a special rank, and so it's a really honorable position within the society to be a sculptor. So we also have, of course, different forms of masquerades and different forms of festivals here, and they're often shown in front of the palace as a backdrop, which is the case in this photograph. And then during this festival, we would have various costumes, but what is really interesting here is this is actually the king, and the king has decided to dress as a British colonist, and then have somebody else dress as him, as like a surrogate, showing his elaborate costume. And so in a way this becomes like an appropriation of British culture, the colonizing force at the time when this photograph was taken in 1908. So masquerade appears in royal festivals, as I'm showing you here. They are usually performed by the men's society, whose membership is determined by the status or achievements and is highly regulated. Each society has their own special house, its own masks, costumes, dance, and secret language. Each acts on behalf of the king to establish order and to preserve the social and religious structure of the kingdom. So now the mask I'm showing you here is very important. Masks like this one usually are performed in groups of 8 to 30, accompanied by orchestras of drums, xylophones, and rattles. When they make special appearances at burials and the commemorative death celebrations of members of the group, they are viewed in awe and reverence. So here we have this mask. It would be worn on the top of the head at an angle, and then the face is actually covered with a piece of material. The features on the face, like the mouth and the eyes, they're exaggerated on purpose, and this thing on the top of the head is to make reference to the king's crown that he wears. So now what I'm showing you is the elephant masks that are performed in Cameroon in the Bamileke Society. And I have a video up, short, it's only like 3-4 minutes, so I would like you to please view that. But I'll point out a couple of things. We have the mask itself, which is the representation of an elephant, and it's this very elaborate beadwork to it that's quite beautiful. And then you can't see it, but maybe kind of here on this one, on the back they wear a leopard skin. And the masquerade, this particular masquerade, is in reference to these two animals, to the elephant and to the leopard. And the belief is that the fawn, the king, can actually transform himself into an elephant. And then the leopard is very symbolic as well in their society, and showing power and other status like that. And then they have these designs on the costumes that mimic the spots of the leopard. So when we look at it, though, here in the still photograph, it's not really, as I keep saying with the masquerades, it's not really the way it's to be viewed. It needs to be viewed in motion. So within the video that I have up there is part of a masquerade that is danced. So please do watch the short little ArtSmart video. It is considered really a masterpiece of African art because of how it is just aesthetically and formally put together. This style of forcibly abstracted masks probably dates to at least the 18th century. While similar masks have been found in several grassland kingdoms, the historical center of production seems to have been the kingdom of Banjor. There, the masks were brought out to participate in the enthronement of the king or to act in the memorial festival of great personages. They also came out to perform the Teso dance at the palace, accompanied by ritual flutes. The Teso dance symbolizes the sovereignty of the king and took place at the funeral of a king or a queen. At annual agricultural rituals that marked the end of the harvest and the new year, at special rituals that had to do with the transcendent power, and at certain meetings of the Masop. As with most of the works from the Grassland Kingdom, the forms of this headdress convey something of a spiritual and social authority of its owner. The sculptural style, though, that is shown here is no longer represented in the Grassland culture.